So it's one of those days where I've been banished to the basement because Mary's upstairs working. So I figured I'll do a couple videos today. Why not? Why not? Today I'm doing a video for a product that I didn't think I was going to be doing because this company here, MiniSopuru, reached out to us and said, "Do you want to try this here docking station for the MacBook?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have a MacBook. You have a docking station. Let's try it out. It should be good, right?" Because I could use this. Two things: I could use this on this machine, but I could also use it on the streaming station because I wouldn't mind something like this for there, or any machine. Doesn't matter. My daughter even has a Chromebook for high school, so useful. Yeah, for sure, totally useful. But needless to say, that's not the unit we received. So we're going to attempt to do a review of this other product. And I don't know if it's going to be a complete review because I can't test it really the way it was probably designed to be used, but we will show it to you guys and you can make that decision whether you think it's cool or not. All right, let's show you what it is. Okay, so not a 13-in-1 DisplayLink laptop docking station. Nope. Instead, we got the 10 gig Type-C Mac Mini M2 stand and docking station. Now, it says M2 stand, but of course, the Mac Mini hasn't changed shape in pretty much forever. But again, we want to make sure that it has the proper ports on it. So I would say M2 or M1 for sure should be fine. But that's kind of it. You guys can see it here. It's just a nice little stand to hold your Mac Mini upright, right, in a vertical orientation. If that's something that you're looking at, it could definitely take up less desk space that way. Plus, as you can see in the picture here, it will give you, depending on how you set it, some at least partially forward, right? It could be forward facing ports or at least to the side, which could be definitely beneficial. The other thing that's kind of cool in here and not something that we'll be testing because I don't have a spare NVMe drive is that it does look like you can put an NVMe drive in it. So it does show you what kinds, 2242, 2260 or 2280 NVMe drives. You need to, it says here, and this is kind of important, right? You need to initialize. So make sure that drive is initialized before it goes in there. However you need to do that, just make sure. But this is how it stands. Cool, 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 right? This is, again, if you put it this way, you get those forward ports. I kind of want a little Mac Mini though. I do. I had one. I returned it because I really didn't have a need for it. But I have I don't want to say old. It's an older iMac. It's the last of the Intel ones, but I've beefed it up, right? It's an i7, but it's got 64 gigs of RAM, the upgraded video card, etc., etc. It still works really good, but in a way, I just was like, a little Mac Mini would be probably just as good or better, you know? So maybe down the road, something that I look at picking up, especially even just the base one. Okay, it does have 50 reviews, 5 stars. That's cool. Not a bad price, $97. Now, the other thing that I was kind of curious about, and you guys, this is it right here, right? You guys can see the box. This is it here. I'm curious that I may be able to, for those that have a Mac Mini, sorry, a MacBook, you could put it in like clamshell mode if you have an external like laptop, you have an external keyboard and or mouse, and just kind of close this and put it in there off to the side because that may be good too if it functions. We're gonna try it with here. I don't have an external set of a mouse, keyboard, monitor, etc. But at least we can tell if it'll hold it because maybe it wouldn't. Maybe that'll be beneficial for those that have that. The other thing we're going to try too, because maybe it's a good all-in-one unit for someone like myself that has multiple devices. I have a Steam Deck. It's actually down here on the floor. I'm going to try this because maybe you could partially, if it's wide enough or if it's the proper width or close to the proper width, use it as a dock for your Steam Deck. So we're going to test a whole bunch of stuff with that. So I'm going to put this computer away and that's going over here. We're just going to put it away for now. We'll be back. We'll be back. All right. We'll be back. This is it. This is it here. Where am I centered? Right. That's it. So MiniSopuru 5-in-1 Mac hub vertical stand M.2 SSD slot, USB-C data ports, has an SD-TF card. I can't tell if it's just an SD and a micro SD. It looks like it could be, right? So you can use both. And there is your input/output. So it is USB-C 3.2 Gen 2. So that's good. It is going to give you the 10 gigabits. But just realize it does have peaks, right? Your SD card peaking at 104. So if you have a card that can produce or output faster than that, this is going to be limited, right? So kind of be aware. And your cards. Now, the one thing too to be aware of is that like it talks about your output, 3.2, 10 gigabits times 2 times 1. Now, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that if you had all three of them running at the same time, you're not going to get full speeds. That's just kind of part and parcel, right? Until you start seeing like a 20 gigs or 40 gigs like you get out of, I think like USB 4 or Thunderbolt, then because one of these, I don't know why more companies don't just spend it. I don't know if it's a lot more money. It probably is, but this with Thunderbolt would be like fantastic. Anyways, this is what you get. Let's just see if we can make this somewhat work. You get, so this here is going to be for those times that you are going to put an NVMe inside the actual hub so that you can get it down further, just so that it stays put. Usually you would put this on the NVMe drive and it would sit between the NVMe and the cover so that it keeps it down, has a bit of space. Also, my guess would be there'd be a little seal of space for possibly some cooling, etc., etc. There is your actual super small manual. My goodness. You guys take pictures of it because that's how you're gonna read it, right? That is tight. It's too bad because you know what, you can see here they had a box. They could have made this manual bigger for sure. I would have liked to have seen bigger. And you are getting, okay, so you do get a good sized cable. I was a little concerned. There is a bit of a rattle. That's because the bottom wasn't on, but that's good because you guys can see this. So this is where you would put your NVMe inside there. And my guess is this stays on, it looks like it just stays on with a magnet. So my guess is that's a magnet on one of these sides. So does that just sit there? Negative. It does not just sit there. So I'm curious now, does it go in the other way? Aha. So it's funny, right? Because it does fit in both ways, right? It does fit in both ways, as you can see there. Yes, but then you can't really get this out properly. So the little notch, you'll see the little notch on there, that goes in, and then this right here looks like it's a bit of a magnet for that, I'm guessing, because that is there. And then you got a spot for your like fingernail to pull that out. And then, yeah, that's better. So on the back here, you guys can see, right? So you do have your micro SD TF card, SD card, so full size, USB-C, USB-C, 10 gig. No USB-A ports on here at all, which is a little surprising. You know, it'd be nice to have one USB-A port on here, but that's okay. It is what it is. So for those of us that say have, let's say a MacBook, which is what I'm going to use it for, you're going to lose one of your USB-C ports, but you're going to gain two. And you're going to gain your SD card and a micro SD card and the possibility of an NVMe drive if you're going to use it. So nice long cable though, because it's better to have a longer cable than a shorter cable. Yes? Yes. So number one, it is wide, right? And it does have, you guys may be able to see it, it does have, there's a strip of padding on the sides. Both sides have some padding on there, and the bottom. So if you were putting a Mac Mini in there, that would be fine. Now, my dirty MacBook, will it sit in there? So simple answer is no, because it is way too heavy, and the angle just, see, no. The only way they could have gotten around that So I can't really test that. And this is not something that you and I would use off to the side. It just doesn't make sense, especially for that price. But if you have a Mac Mini, it's a nice option, right? Especially with the fact that you get an enclosure for an NVMe, that would be okay. So my only last hope would be a Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck's not going to have that size, right? That weight. But, you know, we do have extra ports. This is dirty as well. Just I'm playing with it, you know. You can't expect it to be clean all the time if you're actually playing it, and it does have a touch screen. So just calm down. So the simple answer is yes, right? Simple answer is yes. This works. It sits in there. Actually, it sits in there pretty good if you have a table up here. The only issue, of course, and this is the only issue, does this reach? Does this reach? Yes. Yes, it does. So that reaches. That's okay. So if you had a Mac Mini, it can double purpose. So that's kind of cool. But you can see here, if I turn around, see this, right? You are having a part of the lower part of the screen that's cut off. Big deal? Well, a little bit, because that's, you know, I'd say that's, what is that? A quarter of the screen is going to be tanked off, but it does fit in there okay. So if you have a Mac Mini and you like this, and you're like, hey, I also have a Steam Deck, well, you could have extra drives plugged in here. You'd have to format them for the Steam Deck, of course. SD cards popped in there. Nice thing about this, I would think, with an SD card, with this, is that a lot of us use micro SD cards, right, to put games on. So my thought would be that you could have two cards right in here for playing. So that would be all right. Is it good? It's fine. Like, I wish I could test it. I wish I could test it for you guys on a Mac Mini. I don't have one. I don't have one. They sent me the wrong thing, but I told them I would at least do a first look. So, does it work with a Steam Deck? Sort of. It does. It just cuts it off a little bit. Does it work with a MacBook? No, because the stand is not wide enough to work. It's too bad, right? What would be cool? Here's what would be cool. If they made something like this, the concept, right? So unplug this. They made something like this. So you have the concept, you have this width, yes, but these were on like two almost like springs, like fairly strong, don't have to be super strong, which allows it to come out to this width. Awesome. Or when you took the MacBook out, the springs, you could compress them in, so they would click, 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 kind of compress in, that you could put your MacBook in here, and then it would close on it to keep it upright, and then you could use it for either. Right? I should be in research and development, marketing, whatever. Anyways, it's cool. It's cool. You know, it's a decent price. If you're looking at just a plain hub, right? You can get those definitely cheaper. If you have a Mac Mini, then this is cool because it does allow you to put it in that vertical orientation if that's important. Plus, give you some ports that are front facing, which again can be important. If you have a MacBook, I'd look somewhere else. If you have a Steam Deck, it's probably still better if you just need a dock for a Steam Deck to find a dock for a Steam Deck. But if you have a Mac Mini and a Steam Deck, it does function. It's kinda, I guess. All right, guys, there you go. If you have any questions on it, I'll leave links to where you can find this below. Hopefully I get the right dock from them in the future, and I'm going to leave you there. All right, my friends, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and that's it. Later.